Good morning, Primrose here, and welcome back to my channel. Um, I wanted to greet each and every one of you a happy new year. And before I get into the houseplant tour, the very first one of this year, I wanted to share some tips on detoxifying. So this is very famous around this time of year. After all the feastings that happen during the holiday season, it is now time to cleanse. It's like giving the body a reboot. I visited my local health shop the other day, and they were getting ready for this. They were putting out detox stuff on their shelves already, and these stuff are not cheap. So today I am going to show you how I do this using fresh ingredients and a juicer. So regardless of what we eat, our body is constantly doing it for us already. What we need to do is to support our detoxifying organ, which is our liver, the essential nutrients that it needs to perform better, to function optimally. And so what are these chemicals that we are trying to get rid of? So for me, I had a lot of sweet treats during the holiday season, and right away I can feel it in my joints. Upon waking up in the morning, they're stiff and achy, and I've been feeling bloated and in my stomach, and I just don't feel great at all. And I do not want to go into so much details about the harmful effects of sugar to our body, because there are a lot of information about that if you look it up in the internet. So and of course, if you're a smoker, if you take alcohol, drink alcohol, the additives from the food that we eat, especially the highly processed ones, and chemicals, of course, from the fresh produce or fruits and vegetables, if we are eating them, or if you're not getting them organic, and just the natural processes of the body also creates waste that needs to be flushed out. So sometimes this ready-made detox powder or liquid can be very painful as well, because sometimes these products require you to go on a liquid diet for quite some time. So the way I do this, I allow myself to eat some solid food for fiber, lots of liquid, but avoid sugary drinks, of course, and enough sleep, enough movement. So I have here my fresh ingredients. It came from my father-in-law yesterday, and it's been washed thoroughly. I know my father-in-law does not use chemical-based pesticide or fertilizer in his vegetable garden. So I have here, so this is a bunch of fresh curly kale. as you can see, it looks a lot lighter compared to the other one I have here. This is a dino kale and it's a lot darker. I'm not going to use all of this. And my idea of detoxifying is that I eat a lot of greens, a lot of fresh produce, but I don't ingest or drink jugs of green juice. And I think this practice should not be just a periodic practice. It should be done daily. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my juice. I already have some of my ingredients here, and so greens are great blood cleansers, and sulfur containing foods are great in detoxifying process. It helps the liver produce enzymes that works by converting harmful chemicals into a less harmful one to be flushed out via urine or sweat. So I have here my, and of course, if you have a thyroid issue and you cannot use cruciferous vegetables, romaine lettuce can take the place of kale. And I have here as a sweetener, I'm gonna add just half of this apple. So this is about a handful of kale. I'm not going to do a lot of this. I actually like to have a what do you call this? You use this when you drink vodka or stuff like that. So not so much. This is a concentrated green drink. So I have a thumb-sized ginger and a piece of a spring onion. Do not put too much of this or else your eyes will water. And half of lime. If you do not have lime, lemon is fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in my juicer, and it's gonna be noisy, so I'm gonna switch this this camera off, and I'll come back to you when I'm done. So that was quick. It wasn't even 5 minutes. So here I have my tiny glass, and I warn you, this is not a pleasant taste at all. It's bitter, and I also do this when I have a cold or a flu. It's great also. It has a lot of antibacterial properties there as well. I'm just gonna drink this very quickly. So now it's time for me to show you my plants. So today I'm gonna be doing the hanging plants only, because this video is already long. It's very dark, and let me just see if I could get a good angle. So this is my pearl of strings. There's nothing much in there. This is a new plant, and this is a difficult plant to find, at least in my area. And the next one is the donkey's tail. kitchen windowsill, I have this parsley that I use for my cooking, and then a tiny spider plant. And this plant had been through a lot. It was neglected by my husband when I was away for about 3 months, and when I came back home there was nothing in it. And then I continued to water it. After a few weeks I saw some shoots coming out, and then when it finally decided to grow, it was put on a windowsill right on top of the heating unit in the bathroom, so the leaves got burnt. So in here it's dark. I'm sorry about the backlighting. So this is my Christmas cactus, and it is still blooming, and I do not have any more space for this on a windowsill, so I decided to hang it up so I could get a fair amount of sunlight. And then my cymbidium orchid that is in bloom. The spike was very long, but unfortunately I had bud blast, and it managed to give me about 4 flowers in there and a spike. And then more succulent here. So this is just a herb planter that was given to me by my sister-in-law, but I decided to use it here for my house plant. And I made my macrames. I was looking for macrame online, and they're not cheap, so I decided to make my own. And I spent about £6 for all of the materials, and I made about 6 of them. And in here we have my Boston fern, which is in a macrame hanger as well. I repotted it a week ago because there was a lot of shoots, tiny ones, that were buried deep in a long container. So I decided to put this in a more shallow container. And my Spanish moss. So here we have my large spider plant, and I do not have space for this down here, so I decided to put it up there, and that way it could grow without so much disturbance, and it doesn't get crushed every now and then. And another one, it's a pear plant, and even if it's up there, it's the undersides of the leaves are beautiful, so I don't mind putting it up there. It's a low light plant, so it's okay, and it's not too far from the window anyway. And here I have another macrame that I made. And this is the asparagus fern, and so it's looking a bit sad. There's a lot of yellowing leaves there because I just I repotted it a week ago. So I think it is still in a shock period and still adjusting. And here you could see my very long trailing Hoya. Oh, it's looking dark. So this is the Hoya carnosa. So it's looking more like a jungle in here, and I did not plan to get this much plants, but then once I started I could not stop. So tomorrow you will see the rest of the jungle, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.